Now this video is made on indigenous people and their rights. Now if you look at indigenous people, what do you find is that there were tribals. If you see, you must have heard about tribals, those who were living in India, there are living in India. So these are the people who have been living there since time immemorial. So people who have been living since time immemorial are a part of the indigenous population. You can also say that they are the tribals who are living in India, can be also called as indigenous people. And he says that there are some rights that they should be given. And why does it say that? If you look at UN defines indigenous population as people comprising of descent of people who inhabited the present territory of a country at a time when persons of different culture or ethnic origin arrived there from other parts of the world and overcame them. The indigenous people. So, a good example would be when Aryans came. When Aryans came, they took over the areas which were under Indus civilization. So the people of Indus became tribals. है ना? Indigenous people today live more in conformity with their particular socio-economic culture and traditions than institution of the country which they now form a part of. So this, they have their own way of living. Here you can see the indigenous people, and here if you see how many people are there who are indigenous, it says in the Colorado region of Philippines, and there are 10 lakh people of Chile and 6 lakh tribal people in Chittagong Hills, and Bangladesh also you can see, North America also you can see a lot of people, and 10 lakh small peoples of the Soviet North. So there are, these are the different people, some of them are mentioned here. And what does it say? That indigenous voices in the world politics called for admission of indigenous people to the world community of equals. Indigenous people occupy areas of South America, Africa, India. So any area wherever they were living, someone came and took over their areas. Like in Australia, when people came, they took over, and the indigenous people of that area became a very minority. The same thing happened in America, North America. If you see, USA, when the people who were living in those areas, when Europeans came, they had to run and save their life. You must have heard about Red Indians, है ना? So when those Red Indians are the indigenous people of that area. And what do we see further? It says in the second column, if you look at, it talks about Australia also and New Zealand also, and the Micronesian people also. And what does it says? They appeal to the government to come to terms with the continuous existence of indigenous nation as enduring communities with identity of their own. Since time immemorial is the phrase used for indigenous people. So they have been there since an age. And what do we see? Irrespective of their geographical area, they are there since an age. And what have the loss of land, which also means loss of economic resource. So what happened was, all their land, etc., it came to the people who occupied their countries, and these people became they had to run in their own countries to areas which were of less importance, because the main areas were taken away by the people who came and occupied. And here if you see, it says it talks about scheduled tribes, and what does it says? That most of the scheduled tribe people are working in subsistence activities. They are working as hunters, etc., and their political representation is very, very less. And what does it says? If we see further, it says that whenever outside forces come and interact with people who are indigenous, they have been displaced many a times. Like if you see in Chota Nagpur Plateau, the tribals who were living there, because of industrialization, they had to move from their places. So a lot of displacement also they have suffered, because those areas were incidentally happened to be the areas where there were a lot of resources. So World Council of Indigenous People was formed in 1975, and what does it says? That there are subsequently, first of all, 11 indigenous NGOs to receive the consultative status of UN. So what is happening is a large number of people are being involved into this, and they want that they may be able to, some steps are being taken so that these people may get their rights. So in the past they were marginalized, but today the world is thinking afresh and trying to give them what really belongs to them. So indigenous people have suffered and suffered a lot, be it any country, be it America, be it India, be it any country. So they should be given some rights. India has also given rights to the STs. You must have heard about reservation for the scheduled tribes. That is, in one sense, right to the indigenous people. Thank you.